So in the last lesson, we learned that congruent triangles are congruent if they have corresponding congruent sides and corresponding congruent angles, and that all their sides and all their angles had to be congruent. Today, you're going to learn two different methods for proving that triangles are congruent without having to list all the corresponding sides and angles. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and title your notebook excuse me, proving triangles are congruent using side, side, side and side, angle, side. Okay, so instead of listing all the corresponding angles and all the corresponding sides, the first way you can prove triangles are congruent is by the side, 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 congruent postulate. Or SSS for short. Okay. Now, okay. And it goes like this. If three sides of a triangle are congruent to three sides of a second triangle, then the two triangles are considered to be congruent. Okay? Okay, so say like you have these two triangles, triangle MNP, and you have triangle QRS, and you learn that MN is congruent to QR and NP is congruent to RS and MP is congruent to QS. Then these two triangles are congruent to each other. Okay, so let's write this down. If side MN is congruent to QR and side MP is congruent to RS and side PM is congruent to SQ, then we can go ahead and conclude that triangle MNP is congruent to triangle QRS. Just knowing that these three sides are congruent to each other is enough information to prove that these two triangles are congruent to each other. Unlike yesterday, or unlike the last lecture, we don't need to actually go through and say that all these sides and all these angles are congruent. Just knowing that these sides are congruent are information enough to prove that these two triangles are congruent to each other. Okay, so that's side, side, side.